Hello, it's Melinda from Alexis and Melinda's Art Space. Oh, it's been a while since I filmed a video. I have to get back into the habit of it. It's been a while since this video's been up on my channel. Hopefully not by the time this one goes up, because I've been filming like mad the last few days. Just life has just taken over and, well, yeah. That's all I'm going to say is life, children, family, business, work, yeah, everything that takes you away from YouTube. So today I'm going to try out some new paints that you would have seen in a haul in the last couple of weeks. These are called 7 Pump Paints, which I thought were funny at Kmart. So these were $5, and I'm trying not to swivel my table, my trestle table. I do need to work out a better way to film. I've changed rooms, and it's not, I used to be able to next to a wall and I could shove my homemade tripod next to the wall so it wouldn't wobble, but I can't do that anymore. So I've got to work out a better way of filming, so hopefully I don't wobble the table too much. At least the camera and the table aren't touching, so I've half rigged that up. So these are basically like watered down paints in little spray bottles. I like the idea of the spray bottles because I thought I could reuse them for travel when I because I do travel a fair bit for work and I do take an art kit with me. So I love these colours and I just love the bright colours. They were $5. Trying to use up all the paints I've got, so try not to buy more stuff, but yeah, well, I fell in love with these. They also had, if I can put my hands on them, the metallic version, so gold, bronze and silver. These were $3.50, but I believe these were being clearanced, and I bought these in late January, early Feb, I can't remember, so you may not be able to find these again. These are bigger ones, but we might get to play with these as well. I'm not sure today. Don't know what I'm doing today. I'm going to make a background and then see where it takes me. So I'm working in a new art journal that I've just prepped last night. So this is a Mod sketch journal. Now it's not the best mixed media paper, but I have adapted the paper, so hopefully it will work. I'll just get these spray paints out of the way. So this is a Mod sketchbook. These are around $12 to $15 in Australia. What I liked about this one is the actual format of it. It's almost 2 A4 pages side by side. It doesn't actually have a size on it. A4 landscape it says, so yes, I just liked the format of it, and I usually work in recycled books. If you're a long time viewer of the channel, you would know that. But I just couldn't find a book in this landscape, so I purchased this one. I've been playing and doing a bit of gel plating with my daughter with some backgrounds. So what I've done is I removed a double page from each of the signatures just to make room for when I stick stuff in. This is quite a heavy paper. Oh, I've got 2 there. But it's quite absorbent. So I'll probably always put paint or gesso to seal it and then work on top of it. So I pulled out from every signature a double page. I'll use those for something. And then I've actually glued, well, not that particular one because I started working in it before I did this, glued two pages together just to make them extra thick. And I did that all the way in the book. And to glue the pages together, I just use a normal glue stick. These are from Kmart. They're like 2 for $1 or 2 for $2 or something. And then what I've done to prep this particular page, you can't actually see it, and I did it before I come on video so you didn't have to watch me paint and watch paint dry. I'm going to try to keep my book straight. I used clear texture gesso from Mod. I love Mod. They do some really basic cool stuff and affordable. $10 for this clear gesso in a like a Liquitex brand is probably about $30 for the same size bottle, $20 or $30. I have made my own clear gesso in the past and it works great, but I saw this and I thought I would try it, and I love it. And $10, it's quite reasonably priced. So I put a layer of clear gesso down, and what the clear gesso will do is seal the paper, and it gives it a bit of tooth, so you can sort of feel it. Hang on, I'll get a page that hasn't, so I don't know whether you can hear that, but you can hear the tooth in the page. Now, I'm going to see if I can not get really messy. So I've dried my gesso off, and let's have a play. I've got a couple of paint brushes here that I may spread the paint around with. And let's have a go with some colours. Let's start light first. Let's give them a bit of a shake. Now, I haven't used these before, so I've just got to pump. Ooh, that is quite bright. Let's just whack it in a couple of areas. And this black is a messy matte I've got. I found in a cheap store. It's like a barbecue liner or an oven liner. It's like the grey ones you can buy in the Scrapbook Industry, but I just bought the cheaper one. I love the bright colours. I'm wondering if these are quite transparent or opaque, which is what I wanted to find out. Let's go pink because these shouldn't muddy up the colours. What I might do is, I actually don't like the spray effect. What I might do is grab my paintbrush and grab my paintbrush and uh-oh, they lose their vibrancy. That's what I thought they'd do. Spread the paints out a bit. So just working on the orange to start with. Now, if I didn't gesso my page, these would have soaked in and I wouldn't be able to move them. Maybe if I do a second layer over the top, and I do apologise if I'm moving the camera or the table. I am working on a trestle table. I've said that for ages, and I'm wanting to upgrade to a solid table. I just haven't got around to it yet. As I said, I've moved craft rooms, and I'm just not set up totally at the moment. But I still want to play. And yes, I am painting now with my left hand on this side. I'm sorry it zoomed out so much, but to put the double page in the camera, I had to zoom it out. Oh, it'd sort of still be interesting when this dries how bright it is. Might have to put a second colour, a second coat on top. So what I might do is just turn the video off for a second and heat dry this and then come back. What have I got in here? Black crud. God knows what that is. It's probably my paintbrush. Okay. Back in a minute. Back after drying. I didn't think you wanted to be annoyed by drying or watching paint dry. And it's easier for me to turn the camera off. I just noticed this is a bit wet, so I might work on this side. It's easier for me to turn the camera off and on than edit. So now what I'm going to do is I've grabbed some stencils. These are some of the ones I make and sell in my store. So I might use these two actually. And I've got some Dylusions blending tools and foams. So what I want to do is see if I can stencil over with the paint. So let's go and do what colours. Let's do some of the same colours over, same colours I've used but different. So I'm just going to squirt a bit of paint up here. And what I want to do is stencil. Or do I want to stencil with? Actually, I might use this one. This one's a bit more open. I just want to see how it, whether they're too translucent to stencil on the top. Oh, it's faintly there. I thought it might be a bit more. It doesn't like it. Spraying on the side. Go over here on the yellow. So I'm just going in up and down motion, hopefully not to spread it out so much. Oh, okay, you can sort of see it. They're probably more translucent than I thought they would be, but it will be nice and subtle in the background. And that is the pink, so what I might do is, I think the yellow is going to be too subtle. Yeah, you can sort of see it. But I think the yellow or the orange might be too subtle to go over these darker colours. So let's see what I do, because I think they are quite translucent paints. Especially when you, how about we have a go of spraying through the stencil over here. That's orange, so let's see if we can spray pink on the top. I got my finger. Whoops. Okay, that's working somewhat. Be interesting when that dries, what it dries like. Okay, let's see if I can do some orange up here. We do same stencil, we do different stencil. We might do, I've got lots of inky stuff on this stencil, so what I might do is move my book out of the way slightly, bring some of this paper in because it's just sitting on my desk that I ripped out of the book. And what I can actually do is, probably need a bit of paper towel, or actually this piece is doubled over, so let's just do this so I don't get messy hands. Oh, nice, nice design. Ooh, I like it stamped on. That's really cool. So I can use these for something else. So I'm just building up a background, so I don't want the colours to be in your face. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so I'll put that aside to dry. And I'll bring my book back and spray with, we spray with the same stencil, we go for a different stencil. We'll go with this one, which has got some bigger holes. Okay, so I'm going to go down here with, what colour haven't I used? Yellow. I don't think this is going to work, but I really don't want to introduce, it's only a subtle background, we'll see if yellow turns up. Gonna get more on my finger than anything. Okay, you can barely see it, but that's okay. That's sort of what I wanted. Oh, maybe I'll flip the stencil over and print it on this one. Yeah, that's just a mess. That's okay. I'm just going to pop this one, this stencil in here as well, and just off camera press that down just to use up the paint off my stencil. This is about how I clean my stencils. I'm very bad at it. So we did get some impression on there. Okay, I think I'm going to go and dry this, and it's looking a bit like a background. I'd like something up there. What am I going to put up there? Wonder what spraying pink on top will do, because the pink seemed to go really well on top. So pink over pink. I don't particularly like how these are coming out. They're coming out very blobby. Okay, pink on pink works. Do I want to just stamp this up here? And a bit down here. Just to get some ink places, and we've got a bit here that doesn't have anything on it. Now it's looking like a hot mess, but that's okay. Let's go and dry that again, and I want to see how those colours dry on top of each other. But it does look like the spraying gives you the most concentrated colour. They are water based and they were $5, so what do I expect? But it's fun to play.
So I've just sped this a little bit up. A, it's a bit repetitive, and B, when I went to edit this video, I didn't realise my daughter was playing music in the background and the microphone picked it up, and we don't want YouTube to give me a naughty copyright infringement. So I'm using the same 3 stencils. It's good to use repetition in your pages. So if you use a stencil in the background, you can use it in the like middle ground and even in the foreground to make different patterns. So I'm just using a fine black marker just to make some patterns through the stencil to give a bit more interest to the background. I could line the stencil up and trace around where I have sprayed through the stencil, but I'm just randomly picking places. It was a bit hard to line up things, so I'm just picking bits and pieces. At the moment I don't know where my focal images are going, so I'm just doing a bit of randomness. I can always add more or cover bits up if I don't like them. So I'll link these 3 stencils that I'm using below. They are made by myself, manufactured by myself here in Australia, and are available on my website, which is also linked below, and its name is Scrapbooking N Craft, for anyone that's interested. I am finishing this video off, to be honest, 2 years after I started it. I was going through an old laptop and realised I had a few half-finished videos and hadn't finished the rest of the page and filmed the rest. went through my journals and found those pages and thought, it's about time to get things finished. 2023 is my year to finish. I am sick of having stuff half finished. So I'm sorting through my bag of Dylusion stamped images. So I love to have little baggies of these pre-cut, and I must update my bags with my new stamps I've bought. I'm a bit of a glutton for punishment. I do like them stamped and pre-cut out because I use them more. It's same sort of system Diane Reevely does. She has little boxes of cut out images, cut out collage sheets which are coloured, or cut out stamped images. And you can just sort of audition the pieces, and you don't have to sit there and look at a sheet or look at your stamps and go, okay, I'll stamp that out, I'll cut that out, and it makes the process go a lot faster. So a lot of these were cut out when I had a toe injury and was stuck sitting on my bottom for about 6 weeks with my foot up because I could not do anything else. It would just throb. It was horrible. Had a toe injury and my whole foot swelled up and couldn't move my ankle, couldn't walk, it was not fun at all. So I sat on my butt watching TV. This was about a year prior to this video, so I think this was in 2019, and fussy cut a lot of images out. And I still do that to the day. If I'm going on a train ride, I will take a little bag of images to cut out. Or if I'm sitting there and watching a movie, I like my hands to be busy. If I'm sitting at a doctor's appointment with my daughter that always runs late, I'll sit there and cut images out. So whenever you have some downtime or time that you want to keep busy, just throw a little bag of stamped images, pair of scissors, another Ziploc bag for your rubbish, and away you go. Yes, you do get some weird looks, but hey, I get weird looks all the time, so it doesn't bother me, especially on the train. You just got to be a little careful when they go around corners, and you don't. Cut your fingers. So I am gluing these on with a glue stick to start with. They are just stamped onto regular photocopy paper, which is about 80 GSM. I do now stamp my images on about 160 GSM paper, which is a bit more sturdy and takes colouring a whole lot better. I find the photocopy paper is just a little light when I want to work with alcohol markers or other kinds of markers. So as you can tell, I'm having trouble sticking them on. Now, it's nothing to do with that glue stick. It's the type of paint I'm gluing over. So glue sticks are great to stick down on plain paper and things, but as you can see, they're just peeling straight off. So it's the type of paint and the finish of the paint that didn't like the glue stick. So then I grab out my Mod Podge. I'm trying to use it up. I don't like it. I will not purchase it again. I found other products that I do like because it is quite plasticky when you put it on top. I was trying to only put it on the underside of the images, but I do end up going over the images, and that caused a few problems down the track when I was colouring them. So some people swear by Mod Podge. I particularly don't like it, and you'll find that as crafters and art journalists that you'll try a product because you'll see it on someone on YouTube using it and they swear by it, and you'll find it's not for you. That's great. Use it up, persist with it, which is what I'm doing with the Mod Podge I've got hanging around because I did pick up some cheap at Spotlight, and use it up and try something different. I personally like what do I use at the moment? I use a Couture Creations glue. Because the 160 GSM paper that I now use for my stamped images is a lot heavier, I use more of a craft glue just on the back, and it seems to work really, really well. And you don't get that plasticky look on top. So I'm sealing in the images, something I've learned not to do. Art journaling is all about experimenting and learning what not to do. So just gluing them all down. As I said, this page was a big learning curve, and I learned not to do this. I do like the design. I'm umming and ahhing whether I like this format of book. At the end, I sort of comment a bit more about that of the landscape format. So I dried all the Mod Podge off. It does take a while to dry, and started doing some doodling around the border. Now, I do just a little bit on camera, and then the next clip you'll see is the page completely finished, and I will talk through how I did it. A lot of the doodling is hard to do on camera because A, my nose and head have to be, and I'll explain that a bit better, quite close to my page, and B, it's something I do in spits and spats. So the doodling and the colouring probably took me a couple of hours, but I just, if I've got to spare 15 minutes, I'll sit down and do some. If I've got to spare 5 minutes, I'll sit down and do some. So the double page spread is finished. Now I did finish it off camera. To do a lot of the doodling and the colouring and the finer work, if you're new to my channel, I have low vision and sometimes my nose or my eyes have to be a bit closer to the book when I'm doing more detailed work, and I just couldn't get a filming setup that was conducive to that. The only thing I don't like about this page is I used Mod Podge to stick the images on, which I probably wouldn't do again because, as you can see, it's really shiny and it was really hard to draw on top of the images. So the first thing I did was with my Posca paint pens, trying to get the shine off the book for you, was I did my border around the edge. So I coloured all this in with black Posca pen. Now I could have done it with black gesso, but the pens are on my table. It calms my mind doing all these doodly things and doing stuff like this. So I don't mind doing that. So I did colour it in with Posca paint pen in the black, and then I went over it in a white paint pen. It's not true white, but I like it. And then I did this extra line here just to give it some more detail. I extended some of these. I only had like half one, so I did found the stencil and did the full circle and scribbled in them. I didn't want to do a lot more to the background. And I was umming and ahhing about whether to colour my individual pieces. So sometimes I stick these Dylusions images on and they are not coloured. Sometimes I do go and colour them. And this time I decided to colour them. Even though the Mod Podge was causing my pens to smudge and not get a flat or a nice finish. But for what I've done, I'm happy with it. It's done, it's finished. This took a couple of years to get this finished. Well, it didn't take a couple of years. I did the background and then I sort of forgot about it, and I was going through old videos on my computer and found the video and thought, oh, I better finish that off. So I did add this flower as well. Oh, I just noticed I only half coloured it in. That's alright. Because I believe in the video this one didn't have anything on top of the stem, so I went hunting for the flowers and found one of these. Actually, I cut out of her head and stuck it on. And the pens I used to colour were just some oil-based markers, double-ended from Daiso. I like the bright colours. And these ones from Kmart. I don't know whether these are available anymore. I have had them a while. So these are the dual tip markers. Quick drying, and they tend to go over the Mod Podge fairly well. So these have a sort of a chisel tip. And then they have a bit more of a fine tip. I've actually had to throw 2 of them out because I didn't put the lids back on properly and they dried out. Note to self, put lids back on things. And these are similar things, but these are one-ended. And these are what we call brush markers. They almost have a paintbrush on the end of it. Not as great for fine work, but great for a bit more bigger colouring. So they seem to go over the Mod Podge quite well, these sort of textures, or these sort of markers. I did want to use alcohol markers, but I couldn't find my complete range. I've packed some of them up to take to a class. Obviously unpacked and not put them away. They're here somewhere. So I'll just try to give you, just trying to get the glare off it and give you a bit of a close-up. I will put some close-up photos at the end, but the Mod Podge is really, really shiny and really smooth. And I don't do that anymore when I'm sticking images down. I will just glue them with more of a craft glue on just the underside. But these ones were just stamped onto photocopy paper. So the paper was a bit more thin, which I print them on thicker paper now. But as I said, is it my favourite page? No. Is it done? Yes. Did I have fun? Yes. I had fun colouring this in last night. And I did the border another night. So the final process takes me a bit longer. But I am happy with the result. All I'm getting is glare. I do apologise. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to be more regular on this channel. At the start of the video it does say that the start of the video was filmed about 2 years ago, and then I've just added this bit here and finished it off. But it's another page done in my journal. I'm determined to finish some journals this year. I have quite a few on the go, but I do teach classes, so I sort of need to have a few on the go. Have one for an example and teaching another one, and practicing in a third one. But I don't need as many as I have. I don't know whether I'd buy this format journal again. At the front, I explained it was a Montmark journal, and it's 2 A4 pages, or 2 letter sizes, side by side. Now, it's a weird format to work in, but I suppose it just gets used to. I'm used to working in books that go the other way, that open more like this. So this is your A4 page, and this is your A4 page. So it's just the other format. But I do like experimenting in different size books to see what I like. I will finish this book. It's just the long format is something different to get your head around, if that makes sense. Clear as mud, right? Right. I'll leave you there, and I'll put some still photos or some photographs at the end so you can see a bit more detail. Bye for now.